Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to your go-to source for all things NFL, and especially the powerhouse from the heart of America, the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm your host, bringing you the latest with that electric energy only football can deliver. Now picture this. It's Christmas Day 2025. Snowflakes might be dancing outside. Families gathered around the tree. But for us die-hard fans, the real gift is unwrapping an AFC West showdown. That's right. The Chiefs are hosting the Denver Broncos at the legendary Arrowhead Stadium. And folks, this one's streaming live on Netflix, closing out the holiday with some gridiron fireworks. But here's the hook that'll have you leaning in. What if I told you that tonight's Chiefs squad looks more like a roster of rising stars than the star-studded lineup we're used to, with key players sidelined? Could this be the birth of the next Chiefs dynasty? Stick around as we break it all down. First off, let's set the scene for this festive clash. The Kansas City Chiefs, sitting pretty in the AFC standings after a roller coaster season, are facing off against their bitter rivals, the Denver Broncos. These two teams have a history thicker than Grandma's eggnog, dating back to the AFL days in the 1960s, when the Chiefs were still the Dallas Texans before moving to Kansas City, Missouri, in '63. Arrowhead Stadium, that roaring sea of red with over 76,000 fans creating the loudest atmosphere in the league. Remember, it once hit 142.2 decibels, louder than a jet engine. Tonight, on this global stage, the Chiefs are dealing with a gut punch. Several star players are out, and most for the rest of the season. The franchise dropped the news just before kickoff. Wide receiver Rashee Rice, speedster Tyquan Thornton, cornerback Trent McDuffie, and defensive back Jalen Watson, all placed on injured reserve. Add to that linebacker Leo Chenal, who's also sidelined for the year. And get this, with Patrick Mahomes nursing what sources call a precautionary rest or minor tweak, though unconfirmed in the reports, backup quarterback Chris Oladikin is stepping in under center. Oladikin, a former South Dakota State standout who bounced around practice squads before landing in KC, now gets a shot. It's like the football gods decided to test the depth of Chiefs' kingdom on the holiest of days. But hey, in the NFL, adversity breeds opportunity, right? That's the beauty of this league. It's not just about the superstars. It's about the next man up. Tonight, with the world watching, three young Chiefs are poised to steal the spotlight and prove they've got that championship DNA. These aren't just bench warmers. They're the future, handpicked from drafts and development programs, ready to etch their names into Chiefs lore. Let's dive deep into who they are, why they're buzzing, and what they could mean for this game against a Broncos team that's always hungry to upset the kings of the West. Starting with the ground game, keep your eyes on running back Brashard Smith. This kid out of Miami, the Hurricanes, that is, was a late-round gem in the draft, known for his explosive cuts and vision that reminds old-timers of a young Jamal Charles, that Chiefs legend who racked up over 7,000 rushing yards in red and gold. Smith has only tallied 95 rushing yards this season so far, but don't sleep on his 135 receiving yards. He's a dual-threat back who can turn a simple check down into a chunk play. With Isaiah Pacheco and Kareem Hunt both active, but potentially on a pitch count to preserve them for the playoffs, Smith could see a boatload of carries. Imagine this. Oladikin, who's more of a game manager than a gunslinger like Mahomes, dumps it off short to Smith in space. Against Denver's rugged front seven, led by players like Zach Allen, Smith's elusiveness could be the key to sustaining drives. Offensive coordinator Matt Nagy, that wizard who's helped craft some of the most innovative plays in recent years, has been raving about Smith's work ethic in practice. In fact, let's imagine what Nagy might say in a post-practice huddle. Brashard's got that fire, quick feet, strong hands, and a hunger to prove he's not just a backup. Tonight, we're unleashing him. If Smith breaks loose for a 20-yard scamper or two, he could solidify his spot in the running back room, especially with Hunt's contract up after this year. Statistically speaking, the Chiefs' run game ranks top 10 in yards per carry league-wide at 4.8, but without some fresh legs, it could stall. Smith averaging over 4.5 yards per touch in limited action. That's the spark they need. Shifting to the air attack, wide receiver Jalen Royals is the name that's got scouts buzzing. Hailing from Utah State, Royals was drafted for his route-running precision and those sticky hands that snag contested catches like Velcro. With Rice and Thornton out, Rice, remember, was Mahomes' go-to-deep threat last year with over 900 yards before his knee issues. The receiving core leans on veterans like Xavier Worthy, Hollywood Brown, Juju Smith-Schuster, and of course, the ageless wonder Travis Kelce. But Royals? He's the wild card. At 6 feet 1 inch with sub 4.5 speed, he's built for those intermediate routes that keep defenses honest. Nagy's offense, which loves to stretch the field horizontally and vertically, could feature Royals in motion sets or quick slants. Think about it. Against Broncos corners like Patrick Surtain II, one of the league's best, Royals stepping up could force mismatches. Historically, the Chiefs have thrived on developing young receivers. Look at Tyreek Hill, who went from return specialist to superstar under Andy Reid. Royals has drawn comparisons to a young Mecole Hardman for his gadget player versatility. If I were to craft a quote from head coach Andy Reid, that mastermind with 3 Super Bowl rings in KC, it'd go something like, "Jalen's been putting in the work, sharp routes, great attitude. This is his moment to show why we believe in him as part of our future." With the season winding down and experiments in play, Royals snagging a touchdown or a 50-yard game could lock him into the rotation, boosting the Chiefs' already potent offense that's averaged 28 points per game this year. Now let's flip to the defensive side, where the real grit shines. That Swiss Army knife of a player, linebacker Jeffrey Bassa. Out of Oregon, Bassa's a tackling machine with sideline-to-sideline speed, reminiscent of Chiefs' great Derek Thomas, the Hall of Famer who terrorized quarterbacks in the 90s with 126.5 sacks. With Leo Chenal out, Bassa gets the nod, and defensive coordinator Steve Spagnuolo, Spags, as we call him, the architect of those Super Bowl defenses that held Tom Brady in check, has high hopes. Bassa's versatility means he can blitz, drop into coverage, or stuff the run. Perfect against a Broncos offense featuring Bo Nix at QB and a ground game led by Javonte Williams. Stat-wise, the Chiefs' defense ranks